That wasn't.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Andy, hopefully your week is going well. I'm feeling pretty fired up for week 7. We got to change our header from The Deep Dive Daily to the original Deep Dive, since we are going to go long form, cover every game. A lot of injuries, a lot of news, a lot of interesting wrinkles to cover today in the handicapping space. We have 6 weeks of data now on these teams, so it is now less of a how do you feel about what you've seen? How do we make sense out of these matchups? Were the opponents good or bad or otherwise? Like, we're kind of, I mean, even DVOA now presumably has some signal and less influenced by small sample size. It's always small sample size, but I'm excited to hear your take on a couple of these games, a couple of these sides. I don't know that I've told you everything that I played so far this week, so curious your thoughts on some of them. Yeah, we got a long way to go.
A long road to hoe here yet, but yes, it is kind of a fun week. There's a bunch of good games. Every week I kind of do a thing in my head. Maybe this is if I had more time, energy, and ambition, this would be an article. It's like, what games am I going to learn something from? And then what games am I not? And the what games am I going to learn something from is a long list this week.
Oh, really?
I do think so, just because there are a bunch of games that obviously, like the Rams Jacksonville. I know it's on a neutral site and whatnot, but Jacksonville just kind of had their, they had their nose booped a little by a better team, and now they play another good team on a neutral site, kind of a weird one, but I got to see how they react. Obviously, the Houston-Seattle one too. Houston coming off a bye and a couple decent, not ugly, but wins against teams they should beat prior to that. The Tampa Bay-Detroit game, the Atlanta-San Francisco game, Washington-Dallas, Indy-Chargers, even Philly, Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't even mention Minnesota, Philly. I feel like that's the one we're going to learn the most about.
Yeah, no, I love the report, and we'll get to that too. It's like, hey, both quarterbacks took some reps today. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for fucking nothing. No idea. not that there's some like big, massive difference between Winston and
better than if he was lying to us, I guess.
Yeah, true. So should we start on Thursday? That makes sense, I guess.
Let's do it. Don't have much interest in betting the side on this one. It has come down to 5.5 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Flacco. We're going to get more into that in a minute. Our total sits currently at 44, up from 43.5. I bet 43.5 in this game, so I am delighted to see that the market is giving me a little shine here. I think my fair is 45, so I wouldn't tell people go run to the window and make sure you get your over in now. And it's a Thursday night football game. Crazy, weird ass shit happens every time. So who the hell knows? And it's 2 40-year-old quarterbacks, Andy, which brings me to a little story. And I guess I want to know, do you have thoughts that you want to kind of espouse about this game, or is it story time already?
I mean, not really. I did mention to you the other day, and anyone else who'd listen, I'm back in on the Steelers defense. It looks a lot better after a few weeks. Granted, they've played some teams that are going to make the defense look better, and I still don't quite know what we're going to get from the offense at all times, but this is not a horrible team. And then God knows what we're going to get from the Bengals here. I hope your over gets there, but I'm looking at a lot of player prop unders.
Are you?
Just on Bengals players. Like, really? Or is he going to have that big of a day? Is Flacco really going to have like 23 completions? It just
I guess there was enough positive in the second half of that game where Flacco kind of settled into what they were asking him to do, and there was even some reports of Jamar Chase calling audibles, which is fun. That makes me think that there's a little bit more of a second half Bengals offense that shows up here. And while ultimately we are not seeing as bad of a defense from the Steelers now as we saw for the first 2-3 weeks of the season. It's still a unit that's not grading well. And I'm kind of curious to see if the Steelers defense gets exposed at all on the ground here, because that's really where it's been kind of surprisingly like, wow, these guys are giving a positive EPA per rush so far this year on the ground. And I know that they are a little bit healthier now than they have been. But it still is a unit that can be gotten. They over pursue. They don't, the gap integrity is bad. I think you can point to specific guys in that linebacking room as the problem, namely Queen. And I would say that some of the injuries to the secondary are kind of, got my eyebrows raised. Darius Slay looks like he may go, but I would be shocked if he ultimately is ineffective or has to come out of the game because it's a short week and that looked like a serious injury. So we'll see.
Like, real not real pushback, but kind of a note on what I saw in the second half of that game was the Packers, despite it all, pass rush. The pass rush didn't look great, and maybe that was a big part of this. And that is one of the things that I'm happy with the Steelers right now. And, I don't have the defense rated high yet, but it was really falling off a cliff to start the season, which was worrying me. Is the pass rush has looked better. And if that's there, I think Flacco could struggle a little. I'm not saying it's, all day shutout kind of season, but obviously I do think the Steelers numbers, this is probably about correct. Steelers by about a touchdown.
Okay. I'll push back a little bit on the pass rush thing and just say that, like, if your thesis has been Flacco is just going to eat sacks, he's been under pressure all season long, and he's been doing a pretty good job of avoiding like the back-breaking sacks. Like, he's been the anti-Fields to this point. I mean, he's not operating.
And to your point,
yeah,
he has better receivers now to.
Right.
Get some of these hot routes or quick times out. So
yeah, this has first half rips over, and then you're like kind of end up sweating a little that it gets there in the second half as there's a couple adjustments. The story was so there was a lot of people making jokes about the age, notably Cam Hayward poking fun at Aaron Rodgers in the press corps, calling it the icy hot game, and I was like, God damn, man, this is pretty wild. We have head-to-head between two 40-year-old quarterbacks. That's crazy. I was like, wow, when's the last time that ever happened? And so, of course, nowadays, when you have a question like that, you go to ChatGPT to say, how many times have two 40-year-old quarterbacks played each other in the NFL, Andy? And as always, do you want to guess the answer first?
I want to guess if it was Gannon.
Well, first of all, I'll give you two guesses. Give me two guesses. How many times has it happened? And did ChatGPT get it right?
The second answer, no.
No. The second answer is no.
ChatGPT is terrible with sports stuff.
It's really bad.
I'm gonna say like 4 times. I'm gonna throw a George Blanda game in there. I'm gonna throw a Rich Gannon game in there.
Okay. Well, it was such an inaccurate answer that I don't even really know how many times that has happened. It basically said, yes, there's been 3 games in NFL history where both starting quarterbacks were at least 40 years old, making it an exceptionally rare occurrence. And then it listed 2 of them, and one of them is this game. And I was like, well, what was the third game? We said there were 3. What was the third one? And then the third one, it said December 10th, 2023, Joe Flacco for the Browns and Matthew Stafford for the Rams. And then I was like, but Flacco was 38 and Stafford was 35. And they're like, yeah, that's true. So those would not qualify as one of the games.
I like when you push back on AI and it's like, and it treats you like a hero.
It's like,
my gosh, you're absolutely correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for correcting that. So far, there was probably a George Blanda one in there. It's, who the hell knows? Apparently there's 17 quarterbacks, 40-year-old quarterbacks who have started a game. And these 2 are 2 of them. The last time it happened was a playoff game. In recent memory, not like directly recent memory, but we definitely previewed this one for the Deep Dive podcast.
Was it like a Breeze game late in his career?
It was maybe his last playoff game.
Who's on the other side?
Tom Brady for the Buccaneers. 2020, 43-year-old Brady and the Monstars stomped on the Saints in New Orleans, 30-20. Breeze was 41. That was on their way to winning the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Yeah.
So
Drew versus Tommy. Yeah. Noonan got it. So did yeah, that's right. They were in the same division. So they played twice in the regular season. Okay. So yes, thank you AI for being extremely unreliable in any capacity. There was 3 games where Brady and Breeze played each other, including that playoff game. So for all I know, it's happened 50 times. And
but
we'll never
I will
know.
say I did see some exciting ChatGPT updates coming. If
Connolly
you can
got
prove
it. Yeah.
If you can prove your age, they're going to let you have explicit sex chats with ChatGPT. So they're not fixing the inaccuracies, but they are going to let you become more of a gooner. So anything else on
Fun.
TNF?
Nope. Let's tune in tomorrow. We'll find a halftime winner. London?
London. Yeah, we are actually on a winning streak on halftimes. This is how touts work. 1-0. Our last one. Go Bears. Rough weekend otherwise.
And it only took a miracle fumble and a very long field goal in the rain.
Yeah. Puka Nacua, probably not playing, man. I just really, really doubt it. I don't know. There's some people that seem to be holding out some hope. But yeah, Rams take on Jacksonville in London. This is sitting at 3. There's some expensive 2.5s. There's some cheap 3s. It's kind of a tweener price right now. Total 44.5 still. I don't know. Pretty healthy teams, all things considered. Otherwise, they still have the Havenstein injury, but Puka matters a ton, obviously, for this offense. So that kind of stinks because I've been anti-Jaguars. It feels like when you start betting against a team and it's been kind of a rough go, you start to hate that team. So even if I'm not involved in this, I feel like I'm just cheering for the Rams for some reason. I don't have a strong answer in this one. I make the Rams about right around 3-point favorites, honestly, here. I think this total dropping is a little surprising, considering just it's still a team that's been able to do it without some of the star wide receivers over the course of the last 3 years. Puka and Kupp have missed time, and it's not like the offense just turns into nothing. So I don't know. It's still a pretty good offensive play caller. I'm not 100% sold on the Jags defense yet. I'm not saying bet the over. I was just surprised it dropped quite as hard as it did. And I'll watch this, but yeah, I doubt I'll have any action in this one because I'm pretty close to the number. I
played the under. I'm happy with the market move on this one.
Really?
Yeah, my fair's 41.9, man. 42 basically.
Really? I'm at like 44.
Really? Okay. Well,
I don't know.
I got a better number than that. So
it's really hard.
Okay.
It's really hard to, price in something like Puka.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
One of the most meaningful players in the league.
I think once it's confirmed, it probably comes off the 3. My number, assuming again, I'm giving Puka 0% chance, and maybe I have egg on my face, but my number is Rams -1.5 here, 42. So I think it's going to be a good game. I do think that a lot of what we saw with Seattle kind of finding ways to really aggressively put pressure on Trevor Lawrence is rinse repeat. Did you see the pressure numbers for Seattle last week, by the way?
Yeah, and some of that scheme too, but I think they're just gettable. It's not.
I think they are gettable. I think Lawrence in general is, if you can cover up his first read, is susceptible. He held on to the ball a long time last week, and the Seattle got pressure on something like 66% of dropbacks or something bananas like that. It was one of the highest percentage quarterback pressure games of the season. So hat tip to the Sea Chickens. But yeah, you got a lot of the same skill group guys on that, a lot of similar quality skill guys on that D line for the Rams that can create that same kind of havoc. So don't think that the running game really gets off the ground here for Jacksonville. And I think this turns into a little bit of a field position fest as opposed to a score and answer type of deal. I will say that the Stafford, to my eye, is not playing quite as well these last few weeks as he did early weeks in the season. So that's worth monitoring. And I think just in general, there's a world where the pressure that the Jags are getting consistently defensively affects his play as well. So, under for me in that one. Probably my favorite total on the board. Because again, my favorite's 42.
I don't remember the rhyme with Twickenham and Wembley, but I believe Wembley unders were a thing. And anybody wondering, this is not in Tottenham like the last couple have been. This is in Wembley.
If the game in Wembley's played, bet the under, you get paid.
Yep. If in Twickenham,
like
it's at
bet the understand
over wear a hat.
I can't remember it either.
There's no way we could find that.
The Twickenham was the field that had super long grass, so that was surely the under stadium.
It was a rugby field, I believe, right?
Was it rugby or cricket? Rugby? Anyway.
I think it wasn't cricket. Cricket
had
stadium
long grass. One of them had long grass.
Okay, and I'm with you there too. The Rams defense, obviously.
Skyfish says rugby.
Yeah, you hit on a bunch. You hit on a bunch of young guys. They're all working out. Can you name the Rams defensive coordinator?
It is a Shula, right?
There you go. Yeah, I can't think of his first name either.
Mike Shula?
Robert Shula? Chris Shula. Chris Shula sounds
Chris
right.
Shula. Is it Chris Shula?
But yeah, I mean, to your point, it feels like just do what Seattle did. Follow that tape. Do that. Like you said, take away his first read. He's such a first-string quarterback. Get some pressure on him. Win the game. So Rams by 3-0 Rams for your. All right, set up. You want to set up the KC game?
Yeah, I would love to. Kansas City Chiefs have fixed their offense. Not only do they have an MVP level performance recently out of Mr. Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Tune in for the awards chatter, awards corner. But the Chiefs have gotten healthier on offense. The offensive line has consistently gotten better. They were great against the Lions, I thought, and they didn't even have their starting left tackle because he was a surprise absence. Xavier Worthy, they don't even really need him to be a mega part of the game plan last week, apparently, and they don't need him this week. You know why? Because Rashee Rice is back. This Chiefs rushing attack has finally gotten their feet out of the mud. Andy Reid is calling a good game now. Like the Chiefs' offense should be rated top 3 by any metric that you're currently using to handicap football games, and they're going up against the Raiders defense that stinks. The Raiders defense is gettable any which way you choose to get them, as long as you can take Max Crosby out of the game. I think the Chiefs are capable of doing that. Bigger question really for me here is the Chiefs defense back? Certainly Steve Spagnuolo still has a fastball. We haven't seen a lot of it this year. If you look specifically at Chiefs defense, last handful of weeks, and you exclude turnovers, they're the worst rush defense by EPA per play in the NFL, which is pretty surprising because that used to be like, you're not going to run on the Chiefs, but can you pass on them? It kind of depended. And now, right now, they are giving a 0.11 EPA per play on the ground so far this year, which is worse than the Dolphins, worse than the Ravens, worse than anyone. Yeah,
I have the Dolphins and
a little bit
Bears
shocking.
Worse overall in like my ratings but it's very close. Like those are a trio of shit teams in this, and then I was Baltimore and Buffalo, crazily enough, and kind of in the conversation there too.
Yeah, I screened out Buffalo week 1 game for reasons. That's kind of how the Chiefs end up that low. Actually, I screened out everyone's week 1 game, but and the Chiefs in that world are third worst at 0.08 EPA per rush. Either way, it is a gettable unit on the ground, which means there's probably going to be a decent amount of Pete Carroll leaning on Ashton Genty in this one. Yep. He'll probably get a healthy workload, I would guess. If that ultimately sustains drives and they do not turn the ball over, I think the Raiders are scoring enough in this game to get the full game total over the current 44.5, which feels awfully low. It is always annoying and question. And at least I'm like, a little sketched out when the entire board is painted 45.5, included circa at even juice, but bookmaker
will not come off.
They will not come off it. And I've got over 44.5 there. I hope they eventually capitulate to the market, but there may be someone sitting on that for weather related reasons, or they know something that we don't.
There's expected to be pretty high winds, gusts 25-ish. Nothing crazy. I don't think we're going to see any rain. I did forget to mention it is expected to rain pretty good in London. And while the field has like part of a roof, it's the part that the fans sit under. Like it'll still just rain on the field. So it might be a little wet there in London, but this one, they are expecting quite a bit of weather around the league. And this is one of them that's 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts here. I guess I kind of looked at the Raiders for the same reason, like who's left? Because Bowers is out, obviously I'm kind of out on the quarterback, and the Chiefs, despite it all, have a pretty strong pass rush, pretty strong coverage unit, hot garbage poop shit for stopping the run. And you have a guy who's kind of coming into his own. Sometimes I think when you run into a case like this where, hey, what do we have left? Well, we have the good running back. He's young. He's good. What can't they stop? The run game. I think they can stop the run game. So some of this comes down to just scheme. I mean, some teams are so bad that they have no option. But when you don't have a bad coverage unit and you have a good pass rush, you can leave some of those guys in space. You can start running a more 1995 base defense where you don't have three corners out there all the time. And you have to have linebackers doing a little more coverage just so you can stack boxes. And I think if they stack the boxes a little much, it's not like they're going to get burnt over the top a bunch by this quarterback right now. It's not a good passing offense.
He loves taking those shots, though.
I mean, yeah, I guess maybe that's what gets you there. So I'm kind of sketched out by this because of the cat and mouse game of everybody knows you can't stop the run. Everyone knows that's kind of your best offensive player right now for the Raiders. Is like, why would you just let them run then? Why wouldn't you just gird your loins? Here's
the other red flag, though, is that they play with three linebackers on the field all the time. Like, this is not a team. Like, if you're like, there's other teams where they lean so heavily into having secondary personnel on the field that they just struggle to stop the run. Yeah. Right? That's just how it goes.
Yeah, they play
sacrifice. Small. They're making that sacrifice actively. It's not the case with the Chiefs. They're playing a lot with three linebackers on the field, and they still have a very difficult time bottling up the run. Maybe it's opponent related. I don't know. They have. We'll find out in the coming weeks, including this game. But I do still think that the Chiefs themselves could threaten this total. They could. I think we'll see them really try to, get a feel for how good are the tools, how good is our offense going to look now that we have Rashee Rice back, and this may be a little bit of an exhibition opportunity for them to flex. I would note that 2 notes. The Raiders, there's whispers of trade.
Yeah.
So that's always a little concerning if you're a losing team this time of year and you're a player that could make an impact and you think you might get traded. That applies to the Thursday night game as well with Trey Hendrickson, but certainly with the Raiders. There's that can introduce a little bit of chaos. Ultimately, I don't think you can play the Raiders this week plus the points, even though it's a divisional game, and they usually come up.
My numbers say so.
Keep it close.
Numbers say play them. Raw numbers say absolutely play the Raiders. It should be like 9.5, 10. You're crazy if you don't.
I'm actually at 11 here.
But everything I test says, hey, Chiefs are kind of figuring it out on offense. They're about to get a major weapon back. Everything's clicking. Hey, what do the Raiders do well? They can sort of stop the run. Yeah, well, maybe we just don't run at all because we're not great at that anyway, and we're just going to pass 45 times even if we're leading. Making some of those passes next, you hear the announcers all the time. Well, those are passes, but that's just really an extension of the run game, Mark. The tunnel screens and the long, that's just a long handoff, whereas you mix your run game up to just turn it into part of your passing game. And yeah, the Chiefs kind of might just set their number here because the offense really looks like it's starting to click right now. So
yeah, the other note I had is that there is a long history of correlated Chiefs winning by margin and the game staying under, because they know better than almost any other team how to just completely wipe out a quarter of football if they have a multiple score lead. So that is my kind of head on a swivel about the total, but it's too late. I already bet the over.
This is a fun second half bet, I think, during the Sunday slate.
Yeah. Yep.
Depending where you end up at.
That's fun.
All right. Week 7 rolls on into the mistake by the lake. The Miami Dolphins still have their head coach. The Cleveland Browns are finding finally a nice landing spot for young Dylan Gabriel, who has played 2 very menacing defensive coordinators and now gets the Miami Dolphins secondary. Just when everybody in Cleveland, all the dads in Shaker Heights were so mad this kid can't play, they're going to get drawn right back in because Storm Duck's not here to save this Dolphins team. Their secondary stinks out loud, and Cleveland's at home. These are a couple of teams that are rated 4 to 4 points worse than an average team for me, roughly. This total's come down. Is it still at 39 and a half now? This total remains low. I do believe we're looking at weather in this one as well, just because it's Cleveland. I don't think that it's like confirmed, but just kind of keep an eye on things because wind and rain can kind of come up off the lake. At any given point, I don't think Gabriel's good in the long run, but this could be the game where he actually shows out a little against a defense that can be had. What do we have? 2.5 still, 3, kind of a tweener here. Some places at a cheap 3, some places at an expensive 2.5. I don't know in what world do you want to be laying the Cleveland Browns as a favorite. I don't know that I can go. So what's the option there? It's like, well, I should take Miami money line. You still got kind of a quitting team there with, the loss to, or the game against Carolina stings. The last game, seeing how they played in the second half stings. I don't know how you can go to war with a team like this. I'm not sure what motivates them at this point. It feels like they're about due for a coaching change too, and just everything about that defense. The pass rush is okay at times, but you're not getting much for run stop. Like we mentioned them in the same breath as the other teams that just can't stop anything on the ground. And then at the same time, you don't have a secondary to lean on to say, well, we'll just stack the box and our corners are going to have to be out on an island. They're already out on an island, man. They're on like Sad Island because they know they're going to get burnt week after week. So this is the Cleveland offense show up game, I guess. I'm not sure who shows up, if it's just a big Judkins game.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's.
I think they're hoping that, right?
Like, yeah, this is Judkins gets a bunch, and the balance of this game just kind of depends on what Tua shows up, because there have been moments this year that Tua's looked okay. He's not a bad quarterback. It's just a bad team, and you're missing your number one weapon on offense right now. You still got Achane and Waddle, and they can make things happen. But it's a tough defense. So I've just talked myself in circles here, and
yeah. Well, what's the weather looking like?
Meh.
I saw a lot of rain forecast, but I have no idea how reliable that is this far out.
It's just so far out, and it's Cleveland. It feels like they're always kind of right, kind of wrong. They're saying 75% chance of rain at most places. The winds aren't supposed to be too bad, so gonna be wet. Quinshon Judkins over 100 yards. Go rain.
Quinshon Judkins, man, that guy rocks. Not as a human, maybe, but certainly as.
Oh yeah, how soon we forget that he was problematic.
Quinshon Judkins, by the way, is let's go per attempt. Rushing yards over expectation per attempt. He's actually not doing quite as well as I thought. I thought he was like top 10 as far as running back efficiency. He must have
done a bad team.
I will say that, yeah, the Dolphins defense is asking for it on the ground, and I think Judkins probably gives it to him.
What do you think his rushing total is? It's not up at a lot of places. It's like
79, and I would put it 79.5.
85.5.
Interesting.
That's a big number.
Little bit of shade there. I guess Dylan Gabriel's arm is wildly unimpressive. So I don't know that he can necessarily take advantage of the super duper weaknesses in that secondary, especially with the weapons he's throwing to, which are kind of non-existent. But that said, Cleveland has been 2 bad games. I guess I haven't bet this game, and I'll tell you why. It's Cleveland or pass. But number one, it's already almost out to 3. And number 2, it is there could be some shadow of how difficult their travel to London, travel to play Pittsburgh was last week. Like they might be a little beat up. And if not,
there's still the effects of that.
And here's the other thing about Cleveland that has been on my radar, and we haven't said it out loud, but let's just say it now. Their defense at home, awesome. Like flat out awesome. Right? Maybe best in the NFL when it's at home. They are now going on like an 18-month stretch where they have been on the field forever. They have faced so many plays, and these guys are absolutely at the tail end of what you can handle fatigue-wise. That at some point the shoe will drop, and this defense will just break. Like that's my gut. I don't think it's going to be this game, but chasing around a fast Devin Achane might not feel great for those guys. And yeah, I mean, my antenna are up that the Cleveland defense is all of a sudden, even as good as they are, particularly at home, that we're going to wake up one day and be like, man, this guy's they're done. Like they're too tired. Because like they're asking so much of these guys in terms of how often.
You heard the quotes from
it's brutal.
Myles Garrett, the quotes when kind of asked about it, like he's already starting to sound like he regrets that contract. Like, like it's so much money, but I forgot this team isn't good, and that's not fun. And it's hard to stay motivated. You know, it's like
surely
you're playing Monopoly with your family, and like you're clearly you have the least amount of money. Everybody's crushing you. Like, it's hard to stay engaged in for the rest of that 2-hour long game. It's kind of the same thing. It's a long season. And when the other side of the ball just isn't getting there for you, it's super hard to get just amped up, especially when you're not, hey, I'm in a career or I'm in a contract year. I have to do this for myself. Like that, I wake up and I'm giving my body to this league. I'm probably not going to walk when I'm 50. I need to get like $100 million more out of this. He's past that. Like it's so hard to get up for this.
Yeah,
stuff.
He's in late stage Joe Thomas mode.
Oh God! People compared that the Joe Thomas quotes where he's like, "Yeah, I love this."
I didn't read that.
Play. It was tough.
Your algorithm's giving you better shit than it's giving me, man. My Twitter experience lately sucks.
I go through and like if it's something I hate, I tell it.
I didn't see any of that
anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't seen Elf in a month. I think I just
Who?
Elf. Remember Elf? Oh, that guy sucked. All right, next game.
Jesus Christ! Now I gotta go find who that is.
Remember him? All right.
I do. No, I was on self-imposed Twitter suspension for like the last year, man.
You picked a good time for that.
Anywho,
right.
Yeah, I guess now that Mike McDaniel is not going to end up catching my first coach fired, I kind of am cheering for him to stick around because the Dolphins are fun if they're live every week to be a fun team. And surely right now I want him
to get fired immediately.
Did you bet him the next coach fired?
No, he's still an amazing play caller, and I think he's going to, if he gets fired in season.
Oh, okay. You want him on another team calling
on somebody else's staff 2 weeks later minimum. Yeah. And okay. He's a boon to somebody else's offense.
Yeah. Well, the blame is rightfully been shouldered on two things in Miami. One is the performance of Tua, and the other is the construction of the roster from Greer. And McDaniel's now third in line in terms of responsibility there. So I think he's just going to probably run out the rest of the season and then call it as they clean house there. But Sure would like them to at least make things interesting by being a tough out for some of the other teams they play, because there's a lot of games left on their schedule, Andy, where they're going to be in our face. They are in primetime on Thursday, October 30th against the Ravens, primetime on in a standalone game in Munich, Berlin on November 16th against the Commanders. And then at least for now, 2 primetime games, week 15 and 16 against the Steelers and Bengals. So they probably get flexed out of that if they are, 3 and 10 or whatever. But I'd like them to be a fun foil over the second half.
You want to take a third guess at where that game is?
Is it Madrid?
It is Madrid.
Oh, so I thought Colts Falcons was Madrid, and that one was in Germany. Colts Falcons is in Berlin, and that one's in Madrid.
So
yeah,
right.
Fun.
All right, Patriots.
Enjoy Madrid, guys. Yeah, Patriots. Let's talk this through. So the New England Patriots are heading to Tennessee for the big. I don't know if you caught much news of this, Andy, this week, but Vrabel's return to the Tennessee Titans. Such an anticipated return that the Titans fired their coach and will be trotting out Mike McCoy as the new head coach. Things have gone poorly so far for Cam Ward's freshman campaign, and I think you can blame that a lot on the fact that there are no good players on this team besides Jeffrey Simmons, and that they were poorly coached, as Callahan was rightfully awarded as the first coach fired. But the Patriots' love has gotten a little bit outrageous here. This is their third game in a row on the road. This is a team that still has some pretty clear and obvious flaws, and probably gets a win, but maybe not by 7. There has been less enthusiasm to line up and try to catch or be part of the dead cat bounce here for the Titans, as the Patriots currently sit at -7, -113, or total of 41.5. It's too low. I'm just going to say it. The Patriots can score and their defense has cracks. I think the Titans are going to get into like the 17-ish range here. But that said, they still don't have very many good players, and it sounds like Calvin Ridley going to be out. What's your read?
Yeah, I don't know that he plays. It was a hamstring. It was in game. He wasn't practicing today, so not looking good. No practice for him on Wednesday. Monitor his situation going to Thursday. I don't think he plays. It sucks because where can you attack the Patriots? And I know Gonzo's back, and that's probably going to bring the numbers up a little bit, but it has been a bad secondary. It has been a bad coverage unit in general.
Good and a really good run D.
Yeah, one of the worst, but the problem is we're going up against my 32nd ranked passing offense, and it's hard to take advantage of it when you stink out loud. And the interim coach bump would have been a lot more excited if it wasn't like one of the worst coaches. I don't like him. I don't think he did a good job. Everyone was pumped for him a little bit. He made the playoffs the first year in San Diego, and then just ran that team into the ground. He won like 9 games for the last 2 years. He had a good squad and was a bad coach. I know you get excited because the guy nobody liked is out of there, and that's
the angle. It has nothing to do with how McCoy. It could be a cardboard cutout. Doesn't matter. These guys.
No, but I don't think they're going to have a good. I don't think they're going to have a good offensive game plan to take advantage of this.
Here's my opinion. You push back, but the bounce that if you're expecting a bounce, like, and it's because of the coach, that's like a 3-week thing. It's not a week 1 thing, right? Yeah. It's like in a couple of weeks, are we looking at this team like, wow, it really was Callahan, right? Like that, for that to matter, the coach has to be good at continuing to develop things. And I don't think we can expect that. But the bounce in week 1 is going to be mostly just, thank fucking God that guy's gone. Yeah. Now let's try a little bit harder. Let's have a little more energy. I mean, Simmons called out the team as like, nobody has juice to play for this guy because we know he sucks and we suck. And now at least you potentially have, let's go. Let's go.
It's just, I don't think you have the roster.
But yeah, so the question, what we're going to learn about this Titans team in this game isn't going to be anything about McCoy. It's going to be everything about how bad do they actually suck and how much of it was coaching.
I don't like Hardigree. I don't like basically anything they've done. I just don't think they're gonna have the offensive game plan or the roster to take advantage of any bump. Patriots are my number one team. Despite the coach bump and the third straight game on the road, I'm going to use them all over in Survivor because it's
Patriots?
Just kind of a less. Yeah, it's a lesser of evils. There's a lot of. We'll talk Survivor Friday. I kind of want to table that because we have a lot of games today. But I'm not betting them, but I'm not scared to use them in Survivor.
I don't know. Forget about scared to use them in Survivor. There are a lot of good options this week. And next week there are not a lot of good options, and the Patriots host the Browns.
I know that's the tough part for me too, because it's like, but we're gonna spend a lot of time on Friday on Survivor, because I mean, just real quick rundown, all of the teams this week outside of Kansas City have a huge flaw. If you're looking at the favorite teams, Kansas City's huge flaw is they play on Christmas, and they have future value. There's so much future value. New England's flaw is what we're talking about. They have future value next week, the dead cat bounce, and this is their third straight road game. Denver's flaw is obviously coming from London. Yeah. Giants off extra rest. Giants playing with a lot of moxie right now. Green Bay is playing on the road, and they've proven to be a little less than reliable. And we saw a really good Arizona offense last week. That's kind of scaring people as well. And then the other one would be the Bears. The Bears are coming off a short week, and it's still the Bears who maybe didn't even really deserve that win. We'll pivot to that game next.
This is the week where if you make it past Thanksgiving, I feel like you look back at week 7 and you look at your choice and you're like, that cost me the win, or that got me the win in my pool. Because whatever flawed team the ones you named, you pick and don't have available, like you're going to be like, you're going to kill you or it's going to help you. I don't know. It's going to be tough.
And I didn't even mention it. There will be people that take Pittsburgh.
There will be people that take Pittsburgh. There will be people that take Cleveland.
I don't think Pittsburgh's a bad choice either. So
who has no future value, Andy? Cleveland. Yeah. You know who's going to be 3-point favorites this weekend? Cleveland. I'm not advocating. But I'm just saying.
If you have a lot of entries in a big pool, Cleveland has to make one or two of them. So, all right, New Orleans, Chicago, New Orleans, as I mentioned, Bears, as I mentioned, off the little lucky. Maybe not a cover. They should have covered. I don't know about winning outright. Winning outright, we talked about that already. You win the turnover battle like that, good things are going to happen. Rainy, big slip of the ball on the handoff to McCroskey, Merritt, whatever. And the Bears end up winning that game. Good for them, using the backup kicker. They didn't look that great. They're not getting some big bump, I don't suppose, for something like that. They are coming off a short week, but they're home again against a dome team as the New Orleans Saints travel up to take the Bears. This one is still at we still at 5.5?
It's 5 now.
Flat 5.
Big hook in my pocket. I got the 5.5, Andy.
So
yeah.
I don't really have strong opinions on this game at all. I don't think the Bears are a terribly good team, but they have enough good players here and there to be frisky. They should beat bad teams. Their run defense, and this is what I mentioned. We talked about this. What was the huge narrative going into Monday night? Oh my God, Bill is going to have 1,000 yards because this is one of the worst run defenses. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. They gird their loins, they stack the box a little more, they get a few turnovers, and they put you in a game state where you can't just run, where it's a competitive game. And suddenly, I don't think he even made his yardage total for that game for most people. So this is a very gettable run defense. You have a couple of good running backs and you have a tight end who can run the ball a little too. You have a quarterback who can run the ball. I think the Saints are live to win this game because I'm still. It's not a healthy unit in any sense of the word for the secondary still, and Rattler's not great, but it's still higher than what I expected. The Saints are a bottom 5 team, but they can absolutely beat the Bears.
Yeah, it's a shame this game isn't Bears minus 1.5 in New Orleans.
It's a shame this isn't Sunday Night Football.
You want to see more Caleb Williams in primetime, huh? Ben Johnson coming out party on Monday night, in my opinion. I thought that Caleb Williams was still pretty incomplete, work in progress. The Bears defense was pretty terrible. Bears special teams was pretty terrible. Caleb at least is got the weapons in this contest, and actually, you know what it was? It was the fact that there was a running game, the fact that Swift didn't suck and he got his feet out of the mud, really kind of changed the entirety of what the Bears offense looked like, and I would expect that continues. So Bears should score here. The big question is outdoors on the road. Do you get like a Spencer Rattler in Seattle type of experience, or does he take advantage of a really, really, really suspect pass defense and flex a little bit? Bears are living on the even more than the Jags were last week. The Bears are living by creating turnovers, and some of those have been created for them. Some of them have been actually generated themselves, but I feel like if Rattler just kind of contains it from a turnover perspective here, this game is decided by a field goal late. I'm going to make a wild prediction. You ready?
Yeah.
Bears 25-24 as time expires.
That would be funny.
I would be so delighted because I took plus 5.5. I don't really care if
that would be delightful.
Lose.
I may join you here. Raw numbers don't say this is like a strong play, but oh man, I really think it's I like Kellen. I think it's been okay considering what he has to work with, and with this, what you could put together with a game plan with who you have offensively. I think you could take advantage of this Bears run defense, and yeah, I think they keep it close. I might play some Saints just straight up because that's a fun one. Bears coming off another exciting win, coming off a short week. And then the other thing to monitor is the DJ Moore situation. He was sent to the hospital after taking that hard shot. He's day to day. See if he practices tomorrow. Moving on. Philadelphia, Minnesota. Who set up the last one? Why can't I ever remember?
I think it's my turn. And it's a bummer too, because I mostly want to hear what you have to say about this game. Eagles have were the kind of team we were going to quote unquote learn about last week. Market really, really, really resisted adjusting them down despite all of the signs, and then they go out and do that. and yet they're still really not being aggressively adjusted down. So there is still a lot of people, or at least some market makers out there, that are clinging to the Eagles priors with their cold dead hands, despite the fact that they come into this game with questions swirling about. Oh, and I forgot to mention on the Saints, Chris Olave trade rumors swirling, AJ Brown trade rumors quietly swirling. Yeah. They come into this game with questions about just just not a lot of chemistry. Vibes higher than ever, as you mentioned, in New York, lower than they've been in a while, for maybe ever, for a championship team in Philly. And a lot of it has come down to, honestly, the performance of Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. He is not playing well. His deep ball has had little touch, little accuracy, and he looks like he is playing knowing it, because he is not inclined to take shots when AJ Brown is open. As Brian Dable pointed out, AJ Brown's been open a lot, and he's just not hitting them.
You mentioned that as that troll job, and then they go out and win the damn game. God bless them.
And I get the sense that if there was a little bit more leadership in that locker room, if there was a head coach who wasn't as weird and volatile as Nick Sirianni, then this all gets freaking papered over, and they come together, and they could lose this game, and who cares? We still got a lot of football left. But I feel like if they lose this game, the wheels are going to fucking come off. Doesn't this feel like there's about to be like something relatively explosive if they lose? And yeah, the Zadarius Smith, post camp ad, retired. He was actually doing important things for you from a pass rush standpoint. Jalen Hurts is banged up. Quinyon Mitchell is banged up. You don't have the pieces. Fangio was very outwardly saying in the preseason he didn't have the pieces he wanted in the secondary to do what he, to exercise his vision. So there are warning signs everywhere. They go on the road to Minnesota and they take on a team that doesn't have a quarterback. And so it might not matter.
It might not matter. I know it should just everything you said, it should just be Minnesota or pass.
They've been the hot side.
It has been a hot side. So this look ahead was 3. It opens there, and it's been smushed. Obviously come down to 1.5 at some places. Minnesota's a very hot side. This total creeped up to 43.5. I looked at that a little. I don't love that we just don't know who the quarterback is. Minnesota, everyone's rested coming off the bye. They're still not getting all their players back. That couple more weeks for some of the important ones. Like we need to get Cashman back. You need to get Van Ginkel at 100% to make this defense look good. But yeah, Philly has been very hard to figure out because it should be a much better team. But as you mentioned, Jalen Hurts just doesn't look as good passing the ball right now. Saquon Barkley is nursing an injury. There's been some discord. The vibes are at an all-time low. And the defense is not – it doesn't have this wave after wave of pass rushers and defensive tackles that just come in and get their jobs done all the time. It's been tougher for Fangio, and they certainly have some weaknesses in the secondary. I think if you get – if I'm a Vikings fan, if I'm a Vikings backer, I'm probably wanting Wentz in this game. He's not great, but steady your hand. You know what you're getting a little more, and he's been running the offense for a few weeks. I just think back to week 1 where it's like, hey, let's mash the CD Lamb button against Dory Jackson or whoever else was playing third QB. Like, just the lizard, the lizard meme where he just keeps hitting the button.
Yes.
You can't see. Jefferson. Get it, move him around, get him one-on-one with who you need to. Jefferson 8 yards, Jefferson 18 yards. Like, I kind of want to play the Vikes team total over here.
Okay, let's come back to that on Secret Pod Play because I agree with that. Depends on when's going though. Honestly, if they try JJ McCarthy out there, all bets are off. Here's the thing, man.
We think the book will do that for us.
No.
So real quick, do you remember that when it was between Bradford and somebody else and 5 dimes?
Oh yes, and they hung
qualified 2 different
lines. I do remember it. I do remember that. That is a great throwback. God, I forgot about that.
That was a wild move. I respected it.
Yeah. Was that 5 dimes did it?
R.I.P. Tony, yeah.
Tony did it, yeah. All right. I hate spending this much time on a game that I don't even have any action on and probably not going to have action on because I think there's a better team total out there that we'll get to. But the Vikings went into their bye off of a fluky win against a bad team on the road and in London, right? In a brutal spot. And while the Wentz starts to this point have been fine, like it pretty clearly, to me at least, he put enough on tape that if you're Kevin O'Connell, you're like, we can work with this. We can go into our bye. We can spend a little bit of extra time with them, and we can fashion an offense around Wentz's strengths that can keep us kind of in the mix for a playoff spot. But that's it. Not a playoff win. You're not good enough for that. And the fact that they didn't kind of declaratively just make that decision and just say, we're another year of development. We need another year of development for JJ. It's Wentz's job to lose now, and we're going to make adjustments around his strengths. It's a red flag. And I don't know if it's because of his shoulder injury or if it's because they really don't know who's better, and what they're seeing behind the scenes is not convincing enough. All of this is problematic and questionable, and I don't know where the Vikings season goes from here, but it doesn't feel like they're kind of being. It doesn't feel like this is a winning strategy to me. Yeah,
but I think to give them credit, what would you do? Like, what matters? Because it said, like, do you really want to go out and say, well, hey, we want to win 10 games and then get our shit pumped by somebody in the playoffs? Or do you want to do what's best for the future?
I would think you would just say, hey, you know what? They need. I don't know.
We're 55 minutes deep. I don't want to litigate the Vikings' future right now.
It's interesting though, because
Carolina,
so many other good players.
takes on the Jets as they return from London. Nope. Carolina takes on the Jets as they return from London. Coker is playing. Jalen Coker is practicing. He's supposed to be playing. We just had practice reports from Carolina. They did lose their linebacker for the year. His name is absolutely escaping me. Patrick Jones is done for the year, back injury that will require surgery. A couple of pretty bad quarterbacks. This is not going to make the big TV, guys. The Jets have been extremely underwhelming. Now come back off a London game where we saw a all-time bad performance from their QB. Carolina's been a little frisky, but it's not been like, hey, this is a good offense that we've underrated. This is still a team that's 2 or 3 points worse than the average team. And some of it is defensive. They just don't have the defensive players right now. This total is down to 41.5 after reopening at 44.5. The market didn't think that these, even against some shitty at time defenses, these quarterbacks we can get that done. What do we add for a side now? Still 1, 2 at bookmaker, 1, 1.5, 2, depending where you shop at. I guess, yeah. I mean, it did flip. The Jets were favored kind of heading into the week, and flipping feels right after what we saw last week, but not a game I'm jacked to touch. I do agree with the market. I had Carolina as a 1.5 point favorite here in my numbers.
Yeah, I bet Carolina, and I do as well. I have them actually as 3 point favorites. So I think -2 is a good bet. The big adjustment down for the Jets, assuming you can still turn that knob, is the fact that Garrett Wilson is gone. And that leaves wide receiver room that is completely devoid of anyone who can create separation against any of the middling secondary pieces that Carolina is trotting out there. And the narrative and the buzz around the Jets and Fields this week has been a lot of he's playing too conservatively, Andy. It's got to be more aggressive. It's got to let it rip downfield. Well,
that'll be good.
Okay. So at long last, the Fields 3 turnover game is coming, apparently, because no one that he's throwing the ball to is going to be able to generate separation here. And I do think that Panthers offense, while it has been inconsistent, particularly when you compare the home versus road splits, should be good enough to put some pressure here on the Jets defense. They obviously have found something in Rico Dowdle. Teroa McMillan is a legitimate offensive rookie of the year candidate. And the O-line is playing well for this Panthers team. So I think that's going to give Bryce Young enough of an opportunity to score some points here to put away a clean cover. Wilson, what did I say?
Not practicing today. Well, just he's asking.
Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson might be done for the season.
So they're saying he avoided a major injury, but he's still hyperextended his knee, and it's not in good shape. Like I don't know why they're teasing that he might play this week. It seems dumb. He didn't practice today. I don't think he plays, but this isn't a smart organization. They might put him out there. I'm saying like 5% chance. So I'm considering him out for my numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. If he plays, then maybe I would regret firing Panthers, I suppose. But this wide receiver room and the tight end room, I mean, it's just gonna be a lot of tight end and a lot of running back targets. If they're being truthful and they're putting pressure on Fields to try to get him to throw the ball down the field, like, good luck. His accuracy is not there. He's not throwing with confidence, and he's not going to have anyone open. So he's going to throw some picks. He's going to make mistakes, and this is going to snowball quickly. I will say that after rewatching Jets Broncos, and don't ask me why I rewatched it because I saw it, so I didn't really need to. But after rewatching, the Jets very, very clearly win that game.
Yourself?
I just because I was curious if I was like, was it as bad as the numbers? And watching as I was watching it, as we got to like the third quarter, I was like, I know the outcome, so it's not a little unfair, but I'm literally like, if they put Tyrod Taylor in now, they win the game. Yeah. They win the game, like no question. And it's just like, okay, so Aaron Glenn does not have a pulse. He does not have any type of read on
the highlight of his coaching. That 20 years from now, the highlight of his coaching career is going to be the video of him
the blocked field goal.
Him sprinting down the sidelines. See, zero pulse. The locker room feels semi-lost. Like there's not good vibes coming out of this team right now. And I'm with you here, despite me being pretty much on market. Is Carolina or not? Like I can't, in good faith, tease the Jets here. They're in the teaser zone. There's no chance.
How many points does Carolina score here?
20. It feels like a 20-10 game, man.
No, the under's been pretty aggressively bet, and I think that is mostly just people saying the Jets will not score. Because Garrett Wilson matters, guys, a lot. He matters to this team a lot, especially because his absence and what that happens to the depth chart. We move up Arian Smith and Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson. Alan Lazard is not 100%. Presumably,
Carolina's
practice squad guys. We're going to see some Quentin Skinner this weekend, Andy. How about some Jamal Pritchett? Maybe they kick the tires on Brandon Smith and Isaiah Williams. Those are real people. Trenton Irwin is on the practice squad. Do you know that?
I remember that guy. I thought he was the tight end. Carolina has an okay run defense. So that's the thing too. You try to turn to your two-headed running attack, and I don't think that's going to be.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think that's going to work. I have them slightly above average in a run defense, which is surprising that they're above average in anything right now.
Yeah,
actually,
Panthers.
you know what? I have a pretty good rating for their offensive line.
Who, the Panthers?
Panthers, yeah.
Yeah, as you should.
It's not something that I thought I'd be excited about this year, but they're actually
they're playing well. They're playing well. I sensed the game that Quanu missed. What did he miss? Week 1, week 2? I forget. But since he's been back, they've been a very solid unit. And at one point, they lost Taylor Moton. Is Moton out of this game? I don't even remember. But whatever, they backfilled fine, and I was surprised. It's been fine. Bryce Young can get her first road win in a long time. Has Bryce Young ever won on the road?
I like how you say Moton. Moton didn't play last week. I'm not sure if he plays
Motown.
He's still got
Motown
the
playing?
elbow injury. Oh God! You know what I've been listening to? Do you know who Baby Huey is?
The duck?
No. He's a Motown singer.
No. Oh, okay.
Okay. All those guys covered every other song that everyone else did.
I am eclectic. It's funny. I like some remixed jazz electronic, but I'm an eclectic musical taste in general. I am out on full on hard jazz. I'm out.
It's not jazz. No, this is more Motown soul. He does a really good cover of Sam Cooke's Change Is Gonna Come, and he does the Duck. He does that's Howard the Duck. He does a good California Dream, and go check out Baby Huey. That's been my jam. I've been listening to when I've been working outside. All right, next game.
Oh no, I got one final little trivia for you. You ready?
Okay.
Has Bryce Young ever won on the road?
Yes.
How many times?
Once.
That is correct. Do you remember the game?
I don't, but I know this fact.
It was the week 18 game at the Falcons last year where they scored 6 points in overtime to win 44-38. Good times.
Okay. Enough. Let's watch our palates in this game and head to a couple of hot teams.
Okay.
Although one team is very injured. Give me the Colts versus Bolts. And I think, remember in your numbers, the Bolts will be wearing their yellow jerseys, all yellow.
Oh.
It's just going to be awful looking. Congrats on the Indianapolis Colts yellow for their road wins over the Savannah Bananas. God, I wasted that. That should be on Twitter. Everyone forget that. I might tweet that out Sunday. Did you want to set this up?
Sure. Yeah. I don't remember why, but I played the Chargers here. My numbers are saying, I think it was the secondary issues for,
it's not good.
You set this up because the injuries are long, and complicated.
Yeah. And I guess it depends how you feel about how they can take advantage of those, because Kenny Moore did return to practice, which helps a lot. Obviously, Jalen Jones is out longer term.
He's dealing with an
Ward
Achilles, though.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I don't know. He returned to practice, so he's been out for 3 weeks. It wasn't an Achilles tear; it was just some sort of like irritation, whatnot. He's doing individual drills.
I don't think he goes.
Charvarius Ward is not practicing Wednesday for the Colts.
Concussion.
If both of those guys are out, they might just be dicked, because if there's anything they can do, they have a pretty good passing game. Everybody has contributed. QJ has contributed. As the jokes were about Ladd. Too. Ladd falling off a cliff didn't matter. He came back. Everybody's contributing. The running backs are contributing. You have one of the best quarterbacks who's stuck on a weird team who has, multiple offensive linemen out for long periods of time. So the injuries are kind of all that matters in this one, because if the secondary is truly just everybody misses again for the Colts, then you got to shoot out. At that point, you got to shoot out, because I love what Steichen's done. I love the game planning. I love their offensive line. I think they can stop anything the Chargers throw at them from a blitzing or pass rush standpoint and still move the ball. And they're going to have to if the secondary is still up, because this is a dream scenario for the Colts or Bolts right now. I got to stay saying Bolts because of the rhyming, but the Chargers should be able to take advantage of the secondary, even if they're back. I doubt that everyone's going to be at 100%. The Ward thing was the concussion happened pregame, which is earlier than happening in the game, I guess. He has 3 extra hours to recover. We'll see. It's unusual to recover in 1 week, obviously, for guys like that. Passing the protocol. I'm sure nobody's fucking with that right now after Dable got yelled at for doing it in-game. So possibly without 3 of their best defensive backs again. That's kind of the whole handicap, man.
I would say that the other half of the handicap is Daniel Jones regression win.
Playoffs.
I don't know, man.
Like in Kansas City,
I don't think
AFC
so.
title game.
That if there's going to be regression for Daniel Jones, it's going to happen against a Minter style defense playing quarters, I think, because there's enough weapons, and the weapons are good enough for this Colts team that against most past defenses, it's still just going to be fine as long as he doesn't have the backbreaking turnovers. But against this defense, I think it's going to be tougher. The big kind of matchup to watch in this game is the run defense for the Chargers
it's a JT
get crushed.
Game. Yeah,
but like
100. Like I don't. And Steichen's smart enough to know what you just said. Like,
sure,
it can't be a game where you rely on Daniel Jones to throw it 35, 40 times. Has to be a JT game. Again, maybe some of it is just short stuff, damn short passes. But this is a bad run defense.
As soon as you get off schedule on a drive, though, it could go sideways. As soon as you get behind in the game, it could go sideways. So there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games.
Serious.
I know.
If it's a ref that calls, if this is a reffing crew that calls a lot of offensive holdings, it probably has to be cooler on the Colts, because if you want to make this a game where you heavily feature Jonathan Taylor against a bad run defense and make that your game plan, and you get, like you say, it's 1st and 20, it's 2nd and 20. Those things, it doesn't drive as well when you have to do that over and over and over again. Like you said, it's been a really good coverage unit, and I just am kind of out on the Chargers defense in general. Their pass rush has been shit for obvious reasons, but I think I value Steichen over Minter right now, as far as if you want to play chessboard shit and say, hey, you're not going to be able to rush the passer. You can't anyway. Plus, we have a good offensive line. We can beat you in the run game. I think Jones is going to do just enough to keep this competitive. I think this is a close game. I'm very excited to watch it, and probably out on betting this.
Okay.
I think Herbert has a really good game.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head is at. Herbert has a good game, and Daniel Jones looks like regression starts to me. Funny
Why,
Andy? What? Why?
Why? It's a bad pass rush.
No, it's because the coverage.
All going to be coverage?
Because all coverage. This is a tough defense to have success through the air on. No question. It's like the Chargers and the Vikings always plot in kind of the same area, and it's for really different reasons, you know. And I think that this is a difficult quarters. The way that they play coverage is a very difficult thing to prepare for and to to execute, particularly considering that this is a pretty big step up in competition for the Colts. The Colts have had the second easiest schedule to this point in the season so far. I think this is going to be a tricky one. I thought there were cracks in Daniel Jones's performance last week too. I thought if that Cardinals defense is any better against the run, or if that game is in Arizona, I'm not sure. The Colts win. Fun factoid for you: Colts second time in Los Angeles in 4 weeks. They played at the Rams. Now they're at the Chargers.
Walking in LA.
Gotta be pretty rare for an Indy team to make 2 trips to LA in the span of a month.
Nobody wants that. It's a garbage hole of a town. Hate it. Too spread out. Too big of a town. They shouldn't be allowed to make towns that big.
Not going to jump up to its defense based on a number of things going on here now. But the weather is beautiful. It has been a beautiful day today after a wild storm yesterday. Anyway,
a mild concession. It is the best secondary they'll face. This is better than Denver's has played this year. This is better than the Rams have played this year. Obviously, the other teams they played. The only pushback on that is all those teams had pass rushes, at least. Like, you don't have a pass rush to go along with the secondary, and that affects it, which can be a feather in their cap. If you're playing this well on paper and covering this well, and your pass rush sucks, I think that should further laud you. So the high vibes of New York Giants.
When Derwin James has his third pick and his second touchdown of the game, I will let you know about it.
I mean, we're not crossing on this.
I know.
All right, the Giants. I mean, my numbers say.
You can set the table for Giants in Mile High.
Exciting whites head to Mile High. Very, very fun game off of Thursday Night Football. This is a good situational spot for the Giants, getting extra rest. Denver coming off London. I know it is at altitude. It's a road game. It's a good home field advantage for Denver, but Denver coming off some nasty travel, Giants getting extra rest. Drop, maybe, some people can argue for the letdown spot after a massive divisional win for them in a big spot. Scadaboo looks like he wants to just hurt people. He doesn't seem to understand what the goal line is. He just knows to head in that direction and try to injure people along the way. Jackson Dart was effective. And, this defense looks a lot different than we saw week 1, though. It was disappointing. We'll talk about the game with the Colts. Like, this was a disappointing defense to start the season. It's rounded back into form. I don't know how much we can take away from that London game. That was not all them. Some of that is just Justin Fields isn't very good at football. This is sitting still 7-ish, 7 flat.
There was a little bit of push. At one point it was getting expensive to back the Giants. It's not anymore.
Yeah. Total 40 and a half some places. My numbers say this is a lot to back the Denver Broncos in this spot because Bo Nix isn't terribly good. This one, I guess, comes down to how you feel about the Giants defense traveling here. It's not a great defense. They've been particularly bad against the run. The pass rush obviously is pretty good. Coverage has been marginal to decent. And then, obviously if you use your year-long numbers for the offense, it's tough because some of that is rust time and it's not all, hey, let's get Scadaboo heavily involved. Let's get Jackson Dart throwing the ball. So I don't know. It'll kind of depend on if you get the Jackson Dart from last week where I mentioned that's why I backed him on Thursday. I think Dable said, I'm going to rein you in. We're going to get the best out of him. We're not going to have this game from 2 weeks ago where he looked like an absolute asshole with, turnovers and doing silly things. I think they turned the ball over in like 4 straight drives. That wasn't all him, but they definitely reined it in against the the Eagles. So it kind of comes down to how you feel about Jackson Dart's performance in this game. Maybe you just want to play some dart props. I'm not loving continuing to go to the window with the Giants, but if you made me bet this game, I'd take the 7.
Yeah, I did. I took 7, and it's mostly situational and Knicks hate.
Yeah, I'm starting to, I mentioned that on Tuesday. I'm starting to put together a better advanced way to grade quarterbacks as a whole, like a holistic number for them. And then also have some subcategories for how they handle certain things. And I can't get anything positive for Knicks right now.
I don't know what he does well. And I don't know
He's
that
fast.
I don't
He's
know
very
that
fast.
Peyton is really helping him with the way that they're calling these games either. He's got speed. He's got elusive quickness. I don't know. He's a bottom 10 quarterback, and there's a lot of replacement quarterbacks. So that's maybe even more of an indictment. So I don't know. I think Dart is good. I think he is. And honestly, the fact that Dart has been as good as he has with, pretty tough little 3-game stretch here, like good for him. And
I might join you. I've been teetering around this all week, and I haven't quite got there. So I might.
Here's the other thing, Andy. We'll probably have a limited number of bites at the apple with the exciting weights.
Yeah,
because they're both going to get hurt.
Well, it's either the market catches up because they just keep playing well, or they both get concussions after the game, headbutting each other like the fucking Bash Brothers on Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Giants plus the 7 for me. Not a super strong angle, but give me any team coming back from London. Difficult trip. Bad showing in London, honestly. Should have lost. Taking on a team with extra rest that has some layers that we haven't really seen unfold.
They're like an onion.
Yes.
All right.
Commies, Cowboys. Highest total of the year so far at 55.5. Commanders sitting at -1.5 points right now. There is positive buzz for wide receiver 1 for both of these teams potentially being available, which is fueling some of this total. But if you told me that Sunday morning they're both out, I would keep an eye on this total and probably bet the over then, because it may not matter. They are both rostered well to take advantage of their opposing defense's weaknesses, in my opinion. And this has the feel of game of the week. Team with the ball last wins. Going to be very excited to sit down and watch this one in the 1 o'clock window, my time, 4 o'clock window, East Coast time. Cowboys getting top 5 performance so far this season out of Dak Prescott is pretty cool. Jaden Daniels, to me at least, was lost how good and how crisp he looked against the Bears because of the turnovers. That really wasn't part of the narrative after the game. But good God, was he executing that offense with perfect timing and touch. I thought after that first interception, it was just all like 5 stars for me. Really good, should be a really good game, and hopefully kind of adds to the excitement of the rematch on Christmas between these two squads. Would you be surprised if either of these teams really runs away with this one, or do you agree that this is generally going to be team with the ball last kind of feel?
Couple bad secondaries, like real bad secondaries, especially Dallas. Dallas might be the worst in the league, and I make Dallas a slight favorite here. I'm a little hesitant to bet that if I have Dallas, a team that's just a little off, and the total is looking like it's going to be a lot of touchdowns, a lot of high variance game. I'm not as excited to just take the raw value in my numbers here. I did look pretty hard at a Dallas plus 117 this morning, just on the money line. Thought about it.
I looked hard the other way. I looked hard at anything under 3 for the Commanders. Sounds pretty good to me.
I would take the home team here. Dallas is like you said, you're getting this performance out of Dak. I haven't seen it enough from Jaden Daniels yet this year to really say I'm confident that that's repeatable right now. I think Terry's probably about 70% in.
Okay.
I think CeeDee Lamb's 100%. CeeDee Lamb's playing.
CeeDee Lamb's playing. Yeah, I agree.
I think he's 100% in. Pickett's been great in the interim, and I think Dallas probably puts 35 up here. So I'm leaning towards Dallas. Not something I'm super strong on.
Okay. Wow.
Dallas team total.
Is this a swing on team total Dallas then?
For
what it's worth, like I'm a little under 3. I'm expecting CD in for sure. I have 50-50 on Terry. I kind of don't think it matters, honestly, with Terry, because the guys who have backfilled, I think, have shown a lot of chemistry with Daniels.
It's not like they have a tough assignment this week.
They don't have any assignment this week. Just go out there and
secondary is basically like 3 guys from the chat covering you.
Yeah. And the same with the run defense, man. And I know a lot of that was the handicap against the Bears, but the Bears were at least getting healthier. The Cowboys are not.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Dallas team total is going to be big friggin' numbers. You're talking about 27, 26 and a half. We've bet those before. I bet that a couple weeks ago. I'm going to look at that. Dallas team total over might be my
26 and a half, probably.
Because then they can lose 30 to 27 and I still get that home. Maybe that's my bet. So, all right.
Let's put that in the queue as one of the potential deep dive secret pod plays.
All right, getting towards the end of the slate here, the Green Bay Packers head to the desert to take on the Cardinals. And have you gotten much information on this quarterback situation, Mr.
I'm assuming Brissett.
I'm like 80-20 Brissett because of lack of actually telling me one way or the other, but Brissett looked pretty good. Green Bay's pass rush, as I mentioned, wasn't all that impressive at times, despite who they have on the roster. Green Bay's coming off the bye. Green Bay's getting healthier. Green Bay -7 is my price here for my numbers.
Interesting.
Even I don't know that the Brissett stuff is repeatable. It feels like sometimes you get that bump from a guy you haven't seen in that system yet. Numbers sitting at, it's refusing to come off the 6.5.
What's your Arizona power number then?
My Arizona power number is -2.7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So right now for the Cardinals, I have this as one of the worst pass rushes in the league. I have a slightly below average coverage unit, very decent run stop. And then just the running offense has been very below average. The offensive line is average. And outside of last week, the passing offense has been like 30th percentile for me. It's not much to write home about. Green Bay, obviously a little hit or miss. It's tough to grade them with some of the games they've played. But I don't know. Like Green Bay's a weird team. Not coming off the bye, excuse me. Green Bay coming. I keep saying that when people play Cincinnati. But Green Bay coming off the win at home against Cincinnati, the bye 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Like I'm pretty agnostic to this number. I'm fine with this. The total 44.5. Not something I'm super excited about backing one way or the other.
Yeah, I didn't even look at this game because it says Cardinals or pass, and it says over pass, and I don't think I have the stones to take a game where it might be Jacoby Brissett against the pretty good defense. Interesting. I'm surprised you're at 7. I feel like I'm high on Green Bay, and yet I'm not above a 4 for them. So
they're my number 1 power rank team.
Green Bay is really. Do you have the?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for next week for Kansas City to pass them.
Green Bay and Detroit for me are pretty goddamn close right now.
All year.
Yeah.
All right, Sunday night.
They're pretty close as my top NFC team. I would put KC and Buffalo ahead of both of them. All right, Sunday night. Yeah, no, I wish I had more on that game. Maybe we need to talk through using Green Bay since we saved them from last week for Survivor. Anyway, They got a great matchup next week though too. Future value for Green Bay is so good, and the week after.
They have a bunch of future value.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now when they play Carolina, they're 10.5 point, type of favorites. That's probably where to fire. All right, if we're even alive, if we can even get through this week. Andy, Sunday Night Football sucks. How is this the game?
I don't know.
Juice. There's no juice.
How do we sit and talk about this right now either?
Here's the best possible juicy angle I can give you for Falcons at the Niners. Kyle Shanahan used to be the offensive coordinator of the Falcons. You remember that, Andy, when they were in the Super Bowl and they almost won?
I remember that Super Bowl.
Is there any other angle or juice or anything interesting to say about this game? I don't think so. I don't understand why they needed to give us another Atlanta game in prime time, back to back. This was unnecessary. And it sucks that we're going to have to watch this Niners team in whatever sad state they're in there, in against a team that probably doesn't deserve to, be inside a field goal, but is very live to just win. Niners right now are sitting at 2.5 point favorites. Total is sitting at 47.5. No clear answers from anyone involved in San Francisco as to whether Purdy and Pearsall will return. I'm assuming that whatever you hear from Kyle Shanahan, assume the opposite. And just go with it. Atlanta, on the other hand, we saw the breakout at long last from Bijan Robinson. They have a nice little off-speed pitch with Tyler Algier out of the backfield. Jake Matthews did get hurt, which is worth keeping an eye on, but I think probably okay. I don't know. And then Drake London is clearly one of your top 5 receivers playing in football right now. I don't know what else.
So strong. He's just so strong.
Very good.
Jake Matthews is day to day. I think we're going to get a better grip on that tomorrow, heading into the Thursday practice, because it's an ankle injury. He's a big guy. He can just tape the shit out of it. He'll probably play. I assume Kittle's in. Kind of making it sound
Tonjes
that way.
has done such a good Kittle impression. I don't think it really matters.
Why do you have to bring Tonjes down? But Pearsall and Purdy, who knows? I talked about this last week. I kind of wanted to go to bat with their Atlanta. I guess I should have grabbed the 3 if you're the kind of guy who likes CLV, because I thought the defense would look pretty good with Terrell back. Obviously, it was the offense that impressed more than anything.
The biggest surprise to this point in the season is that Jeff Ulbrich is coordinating a top 5 defense, right?
Again, I think a big part of it is they just nailed the draft picks. Like, if you draft,
I'm not even seeing those guys really make a major impact.
Really? They're always flashing for pressures. Go look at their pressure numbers right now. They seem to be in there when it matters. But you found that. Well, and I think comparatively to last year, where when we would always just joke about the pass rush for the Falcons, it was such a problem. The last couple of years, you go and get a couple of guys that can contribute to that. That matters a ton for this defense, because you have a good secondary at times.
So Jalen Walker, 9th among Falcons in quarterback pressures. James Pierce.
No, but 4th. When it matters.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know how to filter.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how to filter.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, on these big
third
meaningful
downs. I'll filter by. I'm going to filter by 3rd downs. Let's go here. Caden Ellis still dominating.
Caden Ellis is good.
Yeah. Orho Horo. Am I saying that right?
Yes. That's what. Okay. Outside of the rookies too, but everybody. You know why those guys are good?
Ruke.
Because the rookies are making those guys better.
Okay. James Pierce Jr. has 6 pressures on 3rd down. That's pretty good. Quick pressures. Let's see. Quick pressures. Divine Diablo is still your leader in quick pressures. Caden Ellis, Ruke. Pierce is 4th. Floyd is 5th. Jesse Bates is in the mix. D. Alfred is in the mix. Brandon Dorius is in the mix.
Defense.
I don't even see. Does Jalen Walker has 0 credited quick pressures this year? I don't know, man. I think just
he's getting used. I think
they're being well coordinated. Yeah.
You need a filter for big 3rd down. I don't know. Whenever I'm watching the Falcons, it seems like those guys are in there.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, whatever the case is, the Falcons defense is playing top 5. I would have them 5th right now.
Which is nuts.
It is nuts.
Considering where they came into the season.
Now, going up against San Francisco is difficult. It's tricky. But 47.5, not even fucking close. I think this is pretty decent San Francisco team total underlook. I think Falcons are a look. Falcons money line at this point is better bet than taking 2.5 points. I don't even like anything I've seen from Penix, and he's been somewhat questionable on the road.
Well, that's where I've been back and forth on this. Like, I like Atlanta. I make this game a lot closer to a pick'em than where
I think
it's
this
at
game
right
is
now.
just going to suck. I think this is a clear under.
But that's the problem. Like, Penix sucks.
And the other thing about playing an under, Andy, though, in this game is that Fred Warner's not on the field.
I come back to that. So it's
Bijan Robinson
like
is.
You keep stacking these things. Like, hey, the Falcons offense should be able to go against because Fred Warner's out. They're missing Bosa. But Penix sucks. And it's like, but Bijan's really good. Well, but it's a well-coordinated defense. Maybe should be able to focus in on him and stop him. And it's like, but they're missing so many players. It's just been back and forth. It will be Falcons or nothing for me in this one.
Okay, so do you like Falcons team total over going up against the Warnerless Niners? Do you like Niners offense under in their battered state against a Falcons defense that's playing top 5?
Are they battered?
What, the Niners?
No, the Niners offense.
That's what I'm saying. Niners offense, battered Niners offense. Yeah,
it might just. What if Pearsall and Kittle are back?
You think those guys are 100% running around like spring chickens out there? No, they're all beat the fuck up. Purdy might not be going. Mac Jones is if he's playing.
That's what I'm saying. I just want to wait till I want to wait till like Friday. All right. So secret pod play. You're still most interested in Cowboys team total over them. Yeah, that's
take advantage of the wash D.
Well, not only that, but like you see these teams. When does a really good offense against a bad defense not hit their team total? When it turns into a blowout and they're up like 24-3. And they just run and run. I don't think they have the chops to hold the Washington offense down. Like they're going to have to continue to score.
Washington puts the D in washed, by the way. Okay.
Sunday morning. All right.
Quickest no bet then. You're not taking the Falcons and snuff.
I'm waiting on Friday. I want more injury news. I'm willing to take a worse number for more information.
Okay.
And then just real quick, Monday we'll get to these. We'll talk through them on our Friday show when we have a little more information. Tampa Bay Detroit is a absolute banger. That's an early game. They're going to do the early late. It's going to be 7 and 10 Eastern for these games. Detroit needs a statement win here coming off that loss. Tampa Bay's hot as shit, but they're traveling and playing against a really good team. It feels like the smart money should be on the Lions here. Their offense should be able to get this done. It's still not a Tampa Bay defense that has everyone back. And, the Lions defense, this is what we find out. What matters more, a cluster injury at wide receiver or a cluster injury in secondary? Because I think it's probably the secondary.
No.
I think it's secondary. Well, you've seen what Baker's doing with the backups. Maybe it doesn't matter if you have a quarterback who's playing with this much confidence. I think it's Lions by about a touchdown here.
It's different on the road.
It's a good game. And it is a tough road environment to play. In the late game,
it's different on the road in prime time. Lions lay the points with the Lions.
Prime time? It's like 4 p.m. Pacific.
I think the good people of Detroit who are on East Coast time will be out of work. It will be in attendance in great spirits.
Are you saying they're all unemployed in Detroit? Is that what you're I like.
No, I'm saying their workday will be over.
And then Houston, Seattle, as I mentioned early in the week, I bet Seattle -3. I thought that was a stupid number. The market's starting to come around on that as well, as we're up to cheap 3.5, expensive 3 right now.
We're a little bit about.
I make it like 5.
Darnold regression is coming. He's not.
Regression doesn't have to come.
He's not finishing the season with numbers that look like Lamar Jackson last year. Sorry. I'm fine predicting that.
Neither is Lamar Jackson.
No, he's not. That's absolutely true.
What is your favorite bet?
Pantheros.
The Pantheros?
The road Pantheros. Yeah. I'm taking on Aaron Glenn, who's now the worst coach in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to say Aaron.
Now that what's his face got fired.
Somebody made that joke when
Brian
Robert Redford
Callahan
passed. Said everybody in the world just moved up one spot in the handsome man ranking. It's kind of like that. Like everybody moved one spot.
I didn't hear that joke.
Everybody moved one spot down in the shitty coach rankings.
Oh, I didn't hear that joke. That's great.
Aaron Glenn, yeah, you're number one right now because
I think he's number one.
Seemingly lost. Yeah, Carolina in a good spot there.
Yeah, and in general, I think Carolina can play. I mean, I honestly like if this conceivably Fields' last start.
Maybe. I don't know what's the plan. Like I'd keep him.
Terod Taylor. There's going to be desperation. We need to get a win. This guy just threw 4 picks. Like it's conceivably.
Yes, horse piece. It's a horse piece. He's not that much better. I think my favorite's still. I think it's still the Vikes team total over.
I mean, Glenn's going to have the quote from last week thrown in his face immediately if Fields has a couple picks in this game, which is like you said, it was ridiculous to ask you if you were going to move on from quarterback after one bad game. What about 2? 2 bad games enough? Like that's going to start to.
No, you're being silly. The New York media is not going to bring stuff off. They're pretty kind about stuff. What's the worst game then? What is our shower fart? It doesn't feel like
that's probably that one. Or no,
I was going to say you bet on that one.
Kind of shower party.
Browns. What's the one you're least likely to want to watch? It is probably Browns Dolphins.
I'm not going to watch Browns Dolphins.
The Dylan Gabriel showout game. Like I'm not excited about that, even though it'll be good for him in general. But man, Miami's been kind of a sad watch for most of the season.
It's been sad.
And like you said, the cumulative effects of going to London, coming back, playing a division rival with a tough defense, feels like Cleveland's in for a bad day either way. So gross stuff. All right. We'll be back Thursday. Tomorrow morning, we'll do a show at 10:45 a.m. We'll talk about all the awards and everything that's moved in that market. And if we've added anything, Friday, we'll be back to talk about whatever the hell.
Injury reports,
Survivor, Millionaire, anything else we want to go over.
Yep.
Survivor.
What's your bet of the week?
Man, it's probably Seattle. It's still Seattle Monday night. I love that. I make that 5. I don't understand the excitement for Houston. I know that's a really good defense.
It's honestly, it's just that Houston's defense can keep them in competitive.
I think it comes down to it. Like if
Stingley
Darnold
versus JSN is the best matchup of wide receiver cornerback we've had all year.
Darnold needs like 3 good drives, and that game's over. Like I need 3 good drives. Okay. I need 17 to 21 points.
We might see a high water mark in terms of quarterback pressure percentage for a defense against CJ Stroud. It could conceivably be 100% dropbacks. He's pressured.
we rushed 3 here to get pressure. So, all right, I gotta go.
Who was the game where CJ Stroud got sacked in 2 seconds because nobody blocked?
Well, they like blocked each other, and then
it was against Jeffrey Simmons. Yes, the linemen blocked each other out and gave Simmons the clean path to the quickest sack of the season so far.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
It's like the Tecmo Bowl where you could use LT and he would just dive between the A gap, and you would sack if the quarterback. If you played against the Giants in Tecmo Bowl, you could only use the shotgun plays.
Yeah,
because if you were under center, they could spam that LT thing and he would sack you if they timed it right, like as you were receiving the ball, which is annoying as well. I didn't let my brother play as the Giant.
He was that good though.
Yeah. Houston this is a good call from Dan the Man. Houston over under 5 holding penalties. They might be in bad situations.
My number would be more like 5.5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the road. Yeah. Oof.